I'm back with the continuation of my previous video where I have discussed the divisibility rules of various numbers. Right, in that video, I have discussed the divisibility rules up to 7, and in this particular video, I will be discussing the divisibility rules of numbers from 8 to 15. So, welcome to my video, Sweety Mall here. So, what are we supposed to do for checking the divisibility rule of 8? Divisibility rule of 8, you just have to look at the last 3 digits of the number. If the last 3 digits of the number are either zeros or they're multiple of 8, then the whole number will be multiple of 8. Right? So what you're supposed to do? Look at the last 3 digits of the number. Look at the last 3 digits. So let us pick up this example over here. The last 3 digits of this number is 120. 120 we know is a multiple of 8. We can divide it by 8 easily. 8 times 15 gives us 120. So the whole number is divisible by 8. One more example has been taken up here. In this number, by looking at the last 3 digits, we see that they're all zeros. So without thinking twice, you can conclude that the whole number is divisible by 8. As simple as that. Now, what is the divisibility rule of 9? It is just like the divisibility rule of 3. You have to add up all the digits of the number and the sum of the digits should be divisible by 9. If it is divisible by 9, the sum, then the whole number will be divisible by 9. If the sum of the digits is not divisible by 9, then the number will not be divisible by 9. Now let us pick up one example over here. Add up all the digits of this number. How much do we get? 4 plus 8, 12. 12 plus 6, 18. 18 plus 9 gives us 27 plus 2, 29. 29 plus 7 gives us 36. Now 36 is a multiple of 9. So the whole number is divisible by 9. I hope that makes sense. It's just like the divisibility rule of 3. One more example has been taken up here. Add up all the digits of this number. 3 plus 5, 8 plus 1, 9. 9 plus 2, 11. 11 plus 0 is 0. Right? And then we have to add 8 to it. So how much do we get? 11 plus 8 gives us 19. 19 is not a multiple of 9. So the whole number will also not be divisible by 9. Clear? Now next we come to the divisibility of 10. Checking the divisibility of numbers by 10. It is the simplest of all the divisibility rules. You just have to look at the last digit. If it's a 0, it's a multiple of 10. If it is a number other than 0, then it is not a multiple of 10. Because all the numbers in the times table of 10, they end in 0. Right. Next we come to the number 11. For number 11, you have to look at the digits at the odd places. Odd places as in first, third, fifth and seventh place. Right. You have to add them up. Let's give it a name S1. Right. So how much is it? We will see it. And you also have to add up all the digits in the even places, like in the second, fourth and sixth places. Let's call it S2. And we have to find the difference of those two sums. If the difference of those two sums is either 0 or 11 or a multiple of 11, then the entire number will be divisible by 11. So let's see how much do we get here. 2 plus 6, 8. 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. Now the sum of the digits at the even places, 8 plus 5, 13 plus 2, 15. So 15 minus 15 gives us 0. So without dividing, we can conclude that the whole number is divisible by 11. Same method, I picked up one more example here. Now sum of the digits at the odd places, S1 minus, we have to do the sum of all the digits at the even places. So 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6 minus 6 gives us a 0. S1 minus S2 here again is 0. It can be 11 also or 22 also. Any multiple of 11, 11 or 0. If the difference is there, then the number will be divisible by 11. I hope this is clear. Next, what is the divisibility rule of 12? If the number is divisible by both 4 and 3. Okay. Numbers divisible by both 3 and 4. And the divisibility rules of 3 and 4 have already been discussed in my previous video. You can refer to that video to understand it. Now, the divisibility, I'll repeat it here once more though. Divisibility rule of 3 is what? You have to add up all the digits of the number and check whether that is a multiple of 3 or not. Okay? Then the whole number is divisible by 3. And for 4, you just have to look at the last 2 digits of the number. Like here, this is the number. Last 2 digits is 20. 20 is divisible by 4. Right? 4 times 5 gives us 20. So this number is divisible by 4. Now we have to check the divisibility of this number by 3. So add up all the digits of this number. How much do we get? 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9. 9 plus 7, 16. 16 plus 9 gives us 25. 25 plus 2 gives us 27. Right. Now 27 is a multiple of 3. So the whole number will also be a multiple of 3. So since this number is divisible by both 3 and 4, it will also be divisible by 12. Clear till here? Next we come to the divisibility rule of 13. Now for numbers like 7, 13, 19, 23, 27, 29, we have something called oscillator rule. I will discuss this in my next video. As for now, I will teach you 2 rules for checking the divisibility of a number by 13. Right? There are 2 more rules, but to avoid confusion, I'll stick to the 2 rules over here. Now, the first rule is what? This is a number, suppose. You have to multiply the units digit with 4. 3 times 4 gives us 12. Add it to the remaining part of the digit and see what you get. 26, 13 times 2 is 26, right? It's a multiple of 13. So the whole number is also divisible by 13. Now this works well with small numbers, but even if you have big numbers, you have to keep on repeating this step again and again. Like every time you will have to add up the multiple of the number. The units digit number you have to multiply with 4, then add it to the remaining part of the number. If the number is big, you have to continue this process. Like multiply the units digit with 4, add it to the remaining part of the number, and go on continuing this till you arrive at a number, smaller number, and you're able to decide whether that is a multiple of 13 or not. Right? So, I hope I'm clear. Now this is one rule. One more rule which I'm going to discuss over here is that suppose a big number is given to you and you have to decide whether this is a multiple of 13 or not, whether it is divisible by 13 or not. So what do? We form 3 sets of 3 numbers like this. We can call them triplets as well. Whatever is left is here. Okay, and you have to, these numbers have been formed 674. We need to alternately subtract and add. Like 674 minus 453 plus 2. Alternately, subtraction and addition has to be done. Like first we'll start with subtraction, then we'll add. Had there been more numbers, you would have continued this method. Right? So how much do we get? You have to see. If the answer which you arrive at is a multiple of 13, then the whole number will be divisible by 13. So let us see what are we getting. 674 minus 453 gives us how much? This. We have to add 2 to it. How much do we get? 2, 2, 3. 2 to 3 we can see very well that it is not divisible by 13. It's just not a multiple of 13. You can check it mentally and it helps to remember the times table as well. Right. So we can see very well that this is not divisible by 13. So the entire number will also not be divisible by 13. So make sense till here. Next, divisibility rule of 14 and 15. All the numbers that are divisible by 2 and 7 will also be divisible by 14. Why? Because 2 times 7 gives us 14. 2 and 7 both are prime numbers and 2 times 7 gives us 14. So any number which is divisible by both 2 and 7 will also be divisible by 14. Clear? Same rule applies to the number 15 as well. Now 15 can be written as a product of 2 prime numbers 3 and 5. 3 times 5 gives us 15. So you have to check the divisibility of any number with 3 and 5 to understand whether it is divisible by 15 also or not. So the rule for 15 is numbers that are divisible by both 3 and 5 will also be divisible by 15. So I have discussed so many rules over here. In my next video, I will be discussing the oscillator rule as well as the divisibility of numbers from 16 onwards, 16, 17, 18, 19 and so on. Right. So I hope this was helpful to you and you were able to understand all the concepts. So thanks for watching this video.